Alright, so now that we have taken off our broken joint 6, let's go through how we're going to replace it for a new one. So we have three components, this back cap and with 3 screws inside, the main joint 6, and this is the tool end. So the tool end will go on here, and this back cap will cap on this side of the joint 6. Okay, now let's put the tool end first. So to attach the tool end, we have the 2 canvas wires and we have the power wires. So the black and red for the power and the blue and white for the CAN bus. So the CAN bus will attach this black connector here, and this power will attach this connector right here. Okay, now that we have these wires attached, we can put these together through these screws and these slots on the joints here. So, first, you see this slot on the top of this tool right here. This should match this slot here. So we're going to put it on this direction and put the screw heads through these round holes, as you can see here. And once they're all in, you see they're all in, so twist it to the left or counterclockwise. Okay, now that they're twisted in, we just need to tighten these screws down. Now we have twisted the tool end onto the joint itself. We can go ahead and tighten these bolts around, these joints around, using a 5.5 millimeter wrench, and also this kind of position screw here. This position screw will go into this slot right here. And we can tighten these screws again with this 5.5 millimeter wrench. Alright, now as you can see, we have tightened these screws, all the screws around here between the tool and the joint, and we have put in the positional screw right here as well. So now the next step is to put the rubber onto in between this joint to seal it. So first step is you're going to pull the slider over, the slider across. Once you have that, go ahead and stretch your rubber over your joint. And finally, you can use tweezers as well if it's easier. And there you go. Now you have successfully put on the tool end as well as your rubber sealant. So now let's go ahead and attach this joint onto the robot. Okay, now let's put this joint onto the rest of the robot here, the joint 5. So the first step are to attach these wires onto this circuit board here. Firstly, you're going to need to fit these 4 wires, the black and red for power and blue and white for CAN bus, through this hole here, and you're going to need to use your tweezers to pull it out from here so you can put it into this slot and this slot right here. Okay, now we have plugged in the CAN bus wires, so we're just now going to need to plug in the power wires and tighten these screws. So the black goes to the ground, and the red goes to the 48 volts terminal. Like so. Now the next step is to put on this black cap onto this backside right here. And these 3 screws go into 1, 2, 3, these 3 holes like that. Now we can just use a screwdriver to tighten, or Allen key to tighten these 3 screws. Okay, now we have these 3 screws tightened. We're basically almost done. We have these screws are in the slots, but we just need to turn it again counterclockwise to tighten it into the slot. Okay, now that we have turned it into place, we're just gonna have to tighten these screws in these slots here using, again, this 5.5 millimeter wrench. Okay, now once we have tightened all these screws in here, we're gonna need to remember to put in this small position screw into this hole as well. And you can tighten it using an Allen key. Once that is tight, the last thing you need to do is slide this cover down. And you can use a little tweezer to pull this rubber, slide this rubber into the slot here to fully seal the joint. And there you go. You have successfully replaced your joint 6.